All right, welcome to Beneath the Plates. Let's jump in to this episode. So, I just finished recording the pilot episode of a new show I'm doing. In fact, it was a combination of two different show ideas. I kind of merged. Neither one of them were quite right, but I liked enough of. There was a kernel of goodness to each of them that I didn't really want to let them go. But neither one of them were quite right either. So, with that, I've kind of just been, kind of working on. The one I only ever did one episode of, and was Iron Chapel. And basically, and this is more of time, where I sat and I was like, let me do like a sermon. So on Sundays, I'll put out an Iron Chapel episode. So I got gym vlogs during the week, and I'll put out the Iron Chapel on Sundays. And it'll be like a message, and I'll do it in my office, and I'll have like, some cool backdrop stuff. I'll have like my Axe and Sledge, backdrop, and some like, maybe some of my rock weightlifting or whatever stuff. So it's, kind of the pulpit-esque area, the chapel area will be contextual, visually contextual. So, and I can kind of do, a certain, and I did one and, got some pretty good feedback from it, but I just haven't had time to do another one because at the time, so I was doing a Bible study on Thursday nights in Round Mountain, preaching the same sermon, not that sermon, a different sermon, but preaching twice on Sunday. Those were both the same. And then I had a Wednesday night Bible study as well, which was actually the same as Round Mountain. So two different things I was studying for to then present 4 times. Adding a third one just was difficult, and then trying to do gym vlog and everything else. So I only ever did that one episode, but I liked the idea. Just couldn't quite figure out how to make it work. And I also didn't feel like it was quite enough. I was like, it's not enough different to justify the time. It's basically just kind of like, why wouldn't I just take my sermon from Sunday and just put this on here? It's only like a 10% improvement to like be recording it in having some gym like paraphernalia around. But I like the idea. I just wasn't quite there. And then gym vlog I've been doing, which kind of, my whole Becoming Aquaman channel really just started with gym vlog, just recording my videos. And I was just, didn't call it gym vlog. I was just kind of recording my workouts, not videos. Obviously, I'm recording a video. And then I'd post them. And then we were going to be going to Disneyland back in April. So I did this whole 55 days of Disneyland. I'm going to be eating all this garbage. I got to lose as much weight as possible because I'm going to gain weight from Disneyland. And I gained 15 pounds. So it's been 55 days, losing all this weight, I built muscle and stuff too. And I gained 15. Anyway, so I did this whole thing counting down. That was fun. So I was like, let me do that again. I like that consistency. I got to call these something anyways when I post them. I'll call it gym vlog because I'm kind of vlogging just at the gym. So, and then I'll figure something else out. So I like gym vlog, but I've had some issues with it. Everything from if you watch them, some of the uncontrollable aspects of the gym environment drive me crazy, mostly music playing that I can't control. And then I get copyright claims, even though I use AI to try to pull most of it out. So I have these whole episodes where I'm just ranting about that. Just different things, right? The social anxiety of walking into a gym and setting up a camera. I'm not the type of personality to be one, everyone look at me, or two, yeah, screw you, I don't care about your own thing. I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't have either of those traits, and so it's really hard. I want to record because I want the content, and I'm building this thing, but it's really hard for me to do that my home gym, everyone there knows me. They're all cool. No one's ever complained. In fact, I've even had people tell me they've seen the episodes and they like them, or I've had people jump in the camera and wave at the camera. So it's cool. It's just I just have this the social anxiety about it, where to the point where sometimes I won't even work out because I'm I don't want to do it. And it's well, then just go work out. It's no, if I work out, I should record, but then I don't want to record. And so I got this whole thing. I even bought a POV camera. So I'm okay, worst case scenario, I can just go, I won't do a gym vlog, but I can get a POV video. So I really struggle with it, right? So there's been some stuff there. I also like that it's the hangout aspect, but don't love the fact that it's kind of random what I'm talking about. So I basically combined those two ideas. And today was the pilot episode where I'm calling it Iron Chapel, or, it's you're in the Iron Chapel. I don't have a lot of space here at the church, so I had to basically cannibalize my office. So I don't really have an office anymore. And I've turned it into, already my office was a hybrid between an office and for a set for streaming and recording videos. And so now there's the gym. So now it's more of a gym studio that I also work in as my office. So it's kind of weird. It's a really small office. I'm a senior pastor. I have technically 2 offices, one here and one in Round Mountain, and both of them are tiny. And out of the 20 years of youth ministry I did, now as a senior pastor, even with 2 offices, they're the smallest offices I've ever had. In fact, if you put them both together, they're still smaller than most of my offices I have had as a youth pastor. Sorry, drink break. And so I've converted it over. It's not a lot of space, but we're making it work. Got a wide angle lens for the camera. We're making it work, right? And so today was like the pilot. It was episode 0. I kind of introduced it, gave it a try, and I just got finished recording that. But I said something in there that made me realize, oh, that's, I think, what I want today's episode. And normally I have this recorded before that, but because of some, scheduling stuff, I had to switch orders. So I worked out first. Now I'm doing the podcast. Normally I do the podcast, then go work out. But with all that said, let me get to the point. I made the comment about how, okay, this is episode 0, it's like the pilot, blah, 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 here's what I'm doing. Eventually I'm going to do these live, and we can kind of hang out. Because I said the idea behind these is I'm combining these two. It's as if you were like, hey, pastor, could you mentor me? Like, I want to learn about the Bible. Could you mentor me in life and teach me the Bible? And can we do it like while working out? Like, can we meet before, I go to work at the gym, and we can kind of lift some weights, and you can teach me the Bible, and I can ask questions and whatnot. I'm like, yeah, sure, little Timmy, we can do that. And so that's like the idea behind it. And I said, so eventually these are going to be, I'm going to live stream these, and then you can, sorry, that distracted me. I was thinking about like launching the live stream strategy. You can like actually interact. You can ask questions, and also I could even like, bring someone on and like bring them on like camera, and they can ask questions, whatever. All different kinds of things. How cool it'd be to bring like my personal trainer on, Ben, from Faultline Fitness, and like have him come on for an episode and like actually coach me on like technique, and because I know I have crap form on most of my things. I'm working on it. I know I'm working on an Austin Culp. I saw your comments. He's an old student of mine. He was like, yeah, what's your range of motion? I'm like, I know, form. And that whole episode of Gym Vlog, it was 15 or 16. No, I think it was 14 or 15. It was all about like freaking 6, 7. Some of this working out stuff, it is different with my proportions. I got to figure some of this out. I'm not all there. Anyways, I said, yeah, so I'll have it live and we can interact. I said, but I got to work up to that because I'm kind of terrified of doing these live. And I was like, ooh, I should probably, like, why? Why would I have said that? Why am I terrified? I have, guys, it's not like I've never gone live before. I'm like in the top at least 5%. Well, there's a lot of live streamers and video gamers, but the average person who just, sometimes hits go live on Facebook or whatever, like I'm in the top 1%, probably in the top 10% of like live experience. First off, before live was a thing, I was doing live. I had an internship at Fox News in Fresno, and on Friday nights I went down after school, after my little film school in high school. I would go down, and I had an internship for the 10 o'clock news, and so we were like going live, old school live. And then I was one of the first people to get Facebook Live. I remember when they first started giving it to normal people. Like I got it just a few months after that football player had gotten it, and he went live after, I think, the Super Bowl or some football game. And I remember when regular people were like getting it, like, look, I was like, yeah, I've had live on Facebook for like 3.5 months because I typically get features early because I was a marketer and I would be, but based off my usage, I'd be one of the first people to get things. Still kind of that way, actually. I get features early, and sometimes, and then all that stuff during the pandemic, my role shifted, and I became the online campus pastor, and so we were live streaming like a lot. We had different Bible studies. A lot of them were recorded and then put out, but then I was producing a live show where we were pre-producing all the segments, and then we were live streaming 12 hours of content a day on Sundays, so a week. And then we had our Sunday services, which were live streamed. So we literally set up like an entire a control room, a studio. I had 2 studios. I had the post-production studio where we'd shoot things with the green screen, and then I had the live studio. So it was 2 rooms. One was the control room with the soundboard and the computer with the mixers and all that stuff. And the next room was the studio, and we had a set built. And so when we went live on Sundays, it was like live. Like it would go live, there'd be a countdown. We'd come in from the countdown into the worship, the worship would start. We would live stream the first song. During the second song, we cut away from the live service, cut to, and it is different times. At first it was, the pastor and his wife, and then it got to where I became the online campus pastor. So then it cut to me, and I actually then greeted everyone on the live, I was the online campus pastor, as if I was a campus pastor of a physical location, but online. So it would cut to me, and I would do all the greetings, different preliminary stuff, all that, and I had to time it to all be the length of the song, which the length would change every single week depending on what song you picked, and then I would have to perfectly transition back into to pick up on the third song. And so I've done a lot of live stuff, okay? I have experience doing live stuff. So I'm like, why in the world would I make the comment, I'm terrified of doing these live? And I think there's something about post I like, where I can record it, and then I can edit things out. If I say something I shouldn't have, I can edit it out. If my shirt comes up funny, and it's inappropriate because my shirt came up or whatever, I can cut that out. I don't have to worry about it. There's less pressure. Versus if it's live, it's live. So if I get on there, and I'm manic one day, and I say something that later I regret, I can't watch it back editing and go, oh, yeah, I should have said that. I'm going to cut that out. It was said. And I don't know. I just feel like there's a certain level of anxiety I have for that. But I also think there's a component of, and I don't know if the enemy works this way with you, but typically when I know I'm supposed to move into something, that's when he starts to oppose it. So it's typically something that hasn't really been on my radar as a stressful thing. And I feel like through prayer and through different things, I'll communicate it out loud. This is what I feel like I need to do. And then all of a sudden, I start hearing things, I start feeling things start happening that make me start to doubt and question, right? Sorry, another drink break. And so I think that's where I am right now, because I was like, I'm going to start on Monday, I'm going to go in, I'm going to do my workout, I'm going to go live. And then I talked to myself, well, why don't you do the first episode just recorded, and you can kind of edit and watch back, and you can see if you want to make any changes. And now I'm to the point where I'm like, well, what if I go live eventually? What if this whole first week is recorded? And then, it doesn't have to be, I got to get things set up, and, I could do it eventually. And so I'm kind of in that moment of hesitation right now where it's like, these should be live. So I want to talk about that. How do you just overcome things? Well, one piece of advice, which is maybe for 3% of you, is all you need to hear. Just do it. Literally just get over it. There's different ways of saying that. There's the Nike just do it, get over it, do it anyways. There's the do it scared. I think Scotty K Fitness has a shirt out like that. I think Alex talks about that, but Scotty's got a shirt out, I think, that says do it scared. It's fine. You don't have to have it all together. You can do that thing scared. Don't wait until you feel, for one thing, and I've learned this the hard way, it kind of robs the joy out of it. One, it will make it where you never get around to doing it. And two, it kind of robs the joy out of it. I learned this lesson back, a buddy of mine, Gideon Walker, helped me learn this lesson. Years ago, I went to a John Lee Dumas, no, the other John. That was Entrepreneur on Fire. Life on Fire. Oh, why am I, John? I'm spacing on his name. I went to his Life on Fire. I think it was the first or second year that he did it. It's become this big conference he does now. And he wasn't even married yet. They were telling their story. I think they were engaged, and he was telling the story of how they got together. So I was there, and I went with a buddy of mine. I'd never met him in person. I did a show called Entrepreneurs Roundtable, and it started off with us doing these Google Hangouts, and then, so anyways, one of them goes with me. His name's Gideon Walker. He's from Vegas, so we meet up. It's in Santa Cruz. And we ended up splitting it. We got a room together, and we're hanging out, and we're doing this whole conference. And one of the things in the conference is walking over broken glass. And it was originally supposed to be the fire walking, but the fire marshal, basically, they wouldn't let that happen. So they have these trough things, 6 feet long, and they're full of broken glass, and you have to take off your shoes and walk over them barefoot. So we do it. And at the time, if I had something hard to do or nerve-wracking to do, I would downplay it. I would shrink it. So rather than me rising up and making myself bigger, I would make the thing smaller. This is how and I don't really do this anymore. Sometimes a little bit, but most of the time I'll try to rise to the occasion. But I used to try to shrink things. I would downplay it like it's not that big of a deal. So I started downplaying it. And I'm like thinking of all the reasons walking over this glass isn't as impressive as it seems. It's not as intimidating. And at the end of it, I kind of realized this pattern. So me and Gideon were talking. I think we might have even been recording a podcast or something. We're talking about it, and I mentioned that. I'm like, yeah, like I realized in this thing, I have this habit of like downplaying things. And I should, rather than being like, yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal. You walked over broken glass. Instead of my normal would be like, yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal. Everyone did it. It was fine. It wasn't, And I was like, I really should be like, yeah, I freaking did that. Like, have you ever walked over? Not to be a jerk, but you know what I mean? Like, that's impressive. How many people can say they've walked over broken glass and all the things, like all the thoughts going through my head I had to overcome and the mental hurdles I had to get through and then physically walk barefoot over broken glass. And he's like, yeah. He goes, plus like, not everyone made it through fine. Like one guy cut his foot like really bad. I was like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah. I was like, really? He's like, yeah. He's like bleeding everywhere. Yeah, he's like, I'm pretty sure he had to get stitches. Like, it wasn't just like there was no danger in it. Like one guy actually hurt himself and cut himself. I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, this was a thing. And that really helped solidify it. So now when something comes up, instead of downplaying, it's not that big. It's just a live stream. Come on, Jay, you've live streamed forever. You've been doing this stuff. Like you were in the first to get Facebook Live, and you were the online campus pastor, and you've blah 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 blah. Right? Instead of downplaying it, like no man, like it's not that it's yeah that's a big deal. Like that's kind of nerve wracking. Like but you can do it, and yeah you're a little scared. You're a little nervous. You think you might screw up and say something that in like a bipolar moment, and then someone might hold that against you, and even if you apologize, they're gonna be like, yeah, see, you're a bad person. This is why you shouldn't be able to be a pastor when you're bipolar, and that we've been saying this behind your back, but now see, this is proof of it, blah, 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 blah. It's like, so what? Do it anyways. Do it scared. And so that's gonna help some of you. And really that's kind of what I'm talking about is how to kind of overcome that. Another thing too is I kind of similar like the MVP, like we talked about a few episodes ago. You can also break it down. I'm a huge fan of what I call reverse engineering. I say it two different ways. It's like reverse engineering and don't despise small beginnings. Otherwise, I can look at things as these huge, insurmountable tasks, obstacles, and I can let perfectionism get in the way and kind of keep me from really ever doing anything, really ever pursuing something to the fullest. I need another drink break. So these two ideas put together help me not do that. And so what I'll do is I'll break it down. So if it's like, okay, well, what am I nervous about it with? And one of the things is going to be there's the nerves, and the other thing is going to be like, well, because I got to get it all set up, and I'm going to get like the multicam and then the switcher, and then like, am I going to have someone come over? Am I going to try to find someone to come over and do the switcher for me, or am I going to like do a multicam edit later? If so, man, I kind of recently switched over to Final Cut, but Premiere Pro is where I used to do all my multicam in. I know I also have a copy of DaVinci Resolve, but that does multicam, but I've never really done it in that before. And I know that actually I think Final Cut might do it too, but I've never done those. So then I need to get Premiere, and then that's like more money. And I already have Resolve and Final Cut and CapCut. I really need to go and spend more money on this? And well, it's not really in the budget right now, so maybe I'll get it later. And I'll just start creating this whole timeline. And instead, it's like, okay, well, going back to the not despising small beginnings, going back to the MVP idea, what is the smallest thing I could do and still be going live? Well, and the easy answer for that is, well, I've been wanting to go live on TikTok for a while, and not only, I can't even live stream through all the complicated stuff because I don't have a stream key yet. And I need to start live streaming on my phone so I can boost my stats and unlock the stream key option. So I could literally just grab my phone and set that up in the corner and just go live on TikTok. And then what kind of distracted me at the beginning is I was realizing, well, actually Substack now has a live option, so I could also go live on there. and that's more content for my Substack audience. And I could even just start there because less people are going to see it. So I get putting out to like my entire Facebook network, where people who've known me for like years and all the other pastors and ministry people. Like it's on my Substack, so only people who have found that and really subscribe there. Like, so that would be one way. And then so that would be a good way to kind of get going. Either there or TikTok would both be good ways to kind of do it smaller. And then I can start to build up. I can get the multicam. I can figure all that out and yada, 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 right? And so, yes, you could just do it scared. Those are good pieces of advice. Also, break it down into its components, right? Because sometimes it's intimidating because it's this huge thing. But the first step isn't huge. And so it's like, whatever it is, you can break it down into smaller pieces. So it's like, oh, I need to go live, and I need to have, I need to get my office all set up. I got to get the live streaming stuff going, all the pieces together. You know, it always seems to take, like the first several times I go live, there's always an issue. The audio's not working, or something didn't record, or, you know, like, it's always a hassle. And like, so I have to do all these test lives anyways, or just be, and so it's like, no, that's a lot. Like, break that down into smaller components. What's the smallest, well, I can go in tomorrow, and when I do my video, I can grab my little phone tripod, and I can just put my phone, I can go live on TikTok and put that right next to the actual camera and start there. Yeah, I could definitely do that. I could literally do that in the morning. So now all I have to deal with is like the anxiety of being live. And honestly, that's the just do it scared part. So you can really begin to break these things down. Like, for example, if you want to run a marathon, let's say you want to run an ultra marathon, a 200-mile, like Badwater or something like that, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's this huge thing, and you got to get invited, and blah, blah, blah. Start to break it down. Like, first off, are you a runner? No. Okay, well, start running, right? Go out every morning and run, or maybe you have to start with walking, but get to the point where you can do like a 5K. So that should be your goal. Don't go and try to run 210 miles or whatever Badwater is. Like, go do a 5K. Set up a thing. Hit a 5K. Then do like a half marathon. And then do a full marathon. And then start doing like triathlons and stuff like that. If that works. Maybe that, I don't want to do the cross training, whatever. Then be able to do 2 marathons back to back in the same day. Like, work yourself up. Make a timeline. And I actually did this when I got serious about losing weight. Because in the beginning it was like, well, I want to lose weight. I want to look better and feel better and be healthier. And that wasn't working. And I've talked, in the modeling episodes, part 1 and part 2, about modeling the rock. But I set like a timeline of milestones because, losing X amount of weight can be intimidating. And it's been my final goal. I still haven't hit. I'm getting really close. I'm like, if it wasn't like the time of year, I would have probably hit it by now. I'm so close to my goal. But I set that like 4.5 years ago. And if I just set that goal of 255 pounds, I was like 360 something at the time. And by the time I set the goal, I think I was 255. So it was exactly 100 pounds. I'd already lost a little bit. So it was like 100 pounds. I want to get down to 255 was my goal. And then from there, I was like, well, we'll reevaluate. Maybe I'll then want to go back up to like 275 by putting on muscle or something. If that was my only goal, which was the main goal, I'm just out here flapping in the wind for 4.5 years. I'm getting a little closer, but I haven't hit it. So I set these milestones. I broke it down. I go, okay, but on the way there, what are the milestones? I was like, well, first, I want to be able to notice that I've lost some weight in my face. Because I'm doing these videos and my face looks fat now. So I want to be able to tell that, I want my face to thin out a little bit. And then from there, I want to get below 330. And once I hit below 330, my next goal is I want to be 315. And after that, then it's, 295 or below, some of them are closer together. So it's like, then I want to be under 300. But for several weeks in a row. I don't want to be I hit 299.9, but then I went back up to 301. It's like, I want to be consistently for at least several weeks in a row. Even if I go away for a weekend and I'm not as strict with my diet, I come back, I'm still under 300 pounds. And then from there, I want to hit, then it'll be consistent. And from there, then it turned in the consistent, okay, then consistently 295. And then it was 275. And then after a couple months, when I actually built up so it was 275 was originally, and then I was like, you know what, I think I could probably do 255. So I added a updated end goal. And then, I hit the 275, and right now I'm like right around the 260. I'm a little higher right now. This morning I weighed in because I'm typically from the weekends. I come in a little higher and then it adjusts back down. So I'm right around 260 right now. And so I have been for about 3 weeks. I've kind of gotten a little bit of a plateau. I haven't been able to break into the 250s and then the 255. And now I'm like, I don't know, do I want to get down to 235 and then go back up? Or do I want to hit 255 and then go back up? And I have some updated sub goals like, flatten out the stomach, and then I want to get, start working on a six pack, like that kind of stuff, right? But so 255 is that goal. Like I said, it was 275 for about a month, and then I was like, you know what, let's go to 255 and see. So I've been hitting these milestones, so I've been having all these wins. So it's not like I'm just like, 4.5 years later, I'm almost there, but I'm stuck. I'm literally stuck at like 260, and I'm trying to get down to 255, and it's like, no, yeah, I wish I was like 257, and but like, fine, I'm stuck at 260. It's fine though, because look where I've come. Look at all the milestones I've hit. And it's been, excuse me, I got hiccups now from drinking and walking. It's been all these, milestones together. And so break it down because it's so much easier. Imagine if I was just discouraged and quit because, it's been 4.5 years, I'm not there. And, I would have probably quit a couple years into it. So that's one way too, is to break it down. So for me, how I'm going to break it down is I'm going to come in, because I'm struggling with this. Like I want to commit to you, but I also want like one more day. So I'm like, I'm going to commit to come in tomorrow and go live on TikTok. But I'm also kind of like, what if I give myself like one more day? What if I give myself one more day? And so like I'm now doing this internal battle. Like what if I went live on Wednesday? But really, I just need to commit tomorrow. So this is my commitment to you. Today is, you're listening to this on Tuesday. I do these a day ahead. So for you, it's Tuesday. I'm recording this on Monday. So I will commit to you guys, and I'll let you know if I did it or not, to come in tomorrow on Tuesday morning for me, Wednesday morning for you, and not just record the episode, but also set up my phone and go live on TikTok. Now, I can't do Substack yet because you have to have at least 10 subscribers, or you can apply for, earlier access. And so I will. I'll do that today. I'll apply to get it early. I only have 3 right now. I guess I could also just post on Facebook and be like, hey guys, I'm trying to unlock this feature. I probably could get 10 by the end of the day. I'll probably do both. I'll probably post my Substack, try to get up to 10. And then if that doesn't work, I will probably that's going to work. Because if not, I just start messaging people like, hey, can you subscribe to this? It's free. I need to hit 10. So I'll probably do that. I'll probably put that on Facebook and then message a few people, unlock that. But I can't commit to doing that by tomorrow because I don't know how long that'll take. So I will commit to going live on one or the other, either TikTok or Substack. I've been wanting to go live on TikTok for a while. I also like the idea of kind of experimenting with Substacks. I can't really do both because they're both apps on my phone. So I will commit to going live on either TikTok or Substack tomorrow's workout. And yeah, so that's the problem. You break it down. I broke it down. What are the hurdles? Blah, blah, blah. Can I do this? Do I really want to do this? So it's kind of similar to yesterday's episode about Good Morning Monday, about the keys to success. And you just, break them down. And then what's the smallest version I can get started with? And like I said, I've already got a tripod with a MagSafe, magnetic connection for my phone. So literally, it would take me 2 minutes to go in there, open up TikTok, hit live, name it something, connect it to the tripod, sit there and say, oh crap, why did I commit to this on my stupid podcast? And then hit go live. And now I have the TikTok audience to interact with as well, other than just the camera as a imaginary audience. So, and already I'm thinking of things to improve, but I won't be able to read the comments because it's too small versus I have my camera to a big TV. Yeah, well, I can grow. I can build all that. I can get all that running through the laptop and doing all the fancy smancy stuff. But tomorrow, I can just hit go live on TikTok. So that is my commitment to you. It's probably going to be TikTok. Like I said, I might swap out and do Substack, but I will go live on an app tomorrow morning for my workout. And that is the commitment. We'll see how that goes. All right. Well, that's all I've got. Hopefully that helps you a little bit. And with that, I love you guys. Have a blessed day. And I will see you in tomorrow's episode where I have to confess if I did it or not. All right, bye.